So, what makes me cranky about 1917? Well, the movie, not the year. I suppose I'd have to say going through all that trouble to make everything look like one contiguous shot just to show a guy run for his life for like 2 hours. Feels like such a waste not to have more of an actual story to tell here, because that's just about all there is to this movie. Dude runs for his life. We watch. Now, in the beginning, it's actually extremely effective. It genuinely feels like we, the audience, have been summoned to HQ along with these two young British soldiers we meet, and told to run across no man's land to inform our comrades that the German retreat is actually a feint designed to trick the Brits into a suicidal charge. And given there wasn't exactly real-time satellite surveillance to reference back in World War I, it's quite the ask to tell a couple of kids, hey, just hop on over the end of the trench there and start running. You'll be totally fine. Germans are already gone. Just trust us on that. Especially because they have all of a day to get there, and one of the guys just happens to have a brother in the unit that's about to get massacred, so it's not like they can even take their time slinking from cover to cover. It's a very tense opening half hour or so with a number of legitimately unnerving moments, mainly due to that real-time, single camera, no cuts gimmick the movie is using. It's probably even a disservice to call it a gimmick because it's a superb combination of editing and cinematography that stitches scenes together almost seamlessly, as if you really were just walking alongside these guys the whole time. Even once I actively started looking for the stealth edits, it was still really hard to break the spell of that first-person perspective. But the thing is, you can only maintain that level of tension for so long before it just kind of gets dull. It's a lot like how boring the fight at the end of Man of Steel gets after a half hour watching two guys punch each other through buildings to no avail. The more times the character doesn't die from the thing that's supposed to be scary because it could kill them, the less impact it has when it doesn't. Sure, it's always harrowing for the guy getting shot at, but he doesn't know there's another hour of movie left. Now, in theory, the tension would shift to whether or not we're going to get there in time to stop the other British unit from getting wiped out. But we don't actually know anybody in that unit, so there's no emotional connection to that potential tragedy at all. All we know is the one guy has a brother there, but we've never met the brother, never even seen the guy's face. So in the words of Drago, if he dies, he dies. There's no larger context to that loss of life either. Will those guys getting wiped out change the war? Doesn't really sound like it. Certainly nobody acts that way. So ultimately, who cares? Sure, that's very much in keeping with the futility that permeated pretty much everything about World War I, where thousands of guys would die to take 5 inches of ground only to lose it again the next morning to the opposing force that they were only really opposed to because a treaty said so. But in terms of a movie-going experience, it's phenomenally anticlimactic. Whereas most movies get increasingly tense and dramatic as they go along, this one is entirely front-loaded. The longer it went on, the less worried I was about the outcome. It's rare that I'd say something like this, but I think this movie really needed more characters. If you want to keep the single cut gimmick, then you need a few more guys to take on the journey along with you, so you can lose some to ratchet up the suspense a bit. Or you could just go with really long cuts, but split it between a group of guys gearing up to go over the top to assault the German line, and then another group of guys trying to reach them before that happens. Then everything could build to a truly resounding climax. As it is, without having any real means to increase that suspense, the movie just kind of peters out. And then it's over. And again, I guess that very much captures the spirit of World War I, but it means 1917 feels more like a really impressive tech demo than an actual film. You can gawk at the cinematography and appreciate the artistry that went into everything from the acting to the sets to the costumes, but there's really not that much more to it than that. In the end, you're left with a really pretty demonstration of how immersive a movie can be without 3D glasses or virtual reality, which is memorable only in as much as it was really cool to experience and thus just as quickly forgotten when the next big thing comes along. So hopefully somebody will see 1917 and take that inspiration as a jumping off point to create something that has some more substance to it. In the meantime, I actually would recommend you see 1917 in a theater if you're interested in it, mainly because I don't think it would be nearly as immersive on a TV screen. Though you'll have to hope you get a theater full of considerate people who don't spoil the illusion by talking or munching on popcorn the whole time. So it's probably best if you catch a matinee, where there are fewer people around who could ruin it for you. Just saying. In any case, that's what I thought about 1917 anyway. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. The like button will always be there if you enjoyed the video, and if you'd like to help me move the channel forward a few inches, make sure to subscribe and pass the video on to your friends. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you the next time I have something to complain about.